Hey, I'm Zealous Age Plays. Welcome to the America's Animal Pack at Bellemont Zoo. Today we're going to be adding 2 of the new animals from the pack into our South American area, starting with the beautiful little bush dogs. Let's go. This is our South America area at the moment. We've got the From Amazon to Andy's house, and then in front of that the maned wolves and the giant anteaters, and between them and the zoo's main entrance is just 2 temporary paths. Today we're going to turn that into a sizable new habitat for the amazing little bush dogs. We're also adding another one of the new animals into one of the existing habitats, but more on that later. I've deleted the 2 temporary paths and replaced them with one path that splits into 2 to give us this nice bit of open space here where we can build the bush dog habitat. And we're just going to run a thinner path next to the main path so we can branch off to some viewing for the guests without causing congestion on the main path through the area. Chuck some null barriers in just so we know how much space we've got to work with, and then we can start building the habitat. Bush dogs love water, so we're going to have a sizable water feature in the middle of the habitat, and we're going to spend a lot of time making this look absolutely perfect. I want to go crazy with all the vegetation and everything else around here to make a beautiful little scene, which will be the main kind of thing that the guests see when they're looking at the habitat, and then we can build the rest of the habitat around it. I want the bush dogs to be able to cross the water as well as swimming in it, so we're going to build a log bridge for them. We'll need to combine quite a few different log pieces together to get one that's going to be long enough to bridge this gap and actually enables them to walk all the way across it as well. So we'll just keep playing around with the longest log pieces until we get something that looks good and something that spans the whole area. This habitat is based on a real bush dog habitat, one of 2 I think that I've seen, and the one I'm basing this on is certainly the best that I've seen. It's at Knowsley Safari Park here in the UK. It is really big. It's actually about twice as big as the one that we're building here. It's massive, and it's just beautifully landscaped and planted, the massive body of water in the middle of it. Bush dogs are great to build for in terms of foliage because they won't eat it and they're too small to trample it all, so you can have all sorts of plants and even flowers in the habitat and they will actually stay there, which is really good. So we're definitely going to take advantage of that in this build. We're going to decorate the edge of our little pond here with the smallest buffalo grass pieces, just so that we can have little tufts of grass peeking out there. Might not look like much now, but once this is joined up with the full size buffalo grass that'll cover the rest of the habitat, it'll make the pond look really natural and tie in really nicely with the rest of the habitat. So we'll fill the rest of the habitat in with the buffalo grass. We'll do this end and then we'll do this end. It's quite an unusual shape, this habitat, because it follows the path around. I like habitats like that. Gives lots of viewing opportunities for the guests, and then we can just add some final grass in to join up the bits on the bank of the pond with the main habitat, and then we can move on to get some more interesting foliage in. So we're going to use the pampas grass that we made for the maned wolf habitat. This is on the workshop if you want to grab this and use this in your own habitats. I actually made it using quite a lot of the reeds, because that's one of the closest pieces to pampas grass that we've got, so it'll actually work really nicely for some more interesting looking reeds around the side of the pond here. So we'll place a group of these at the back. We've got some water lilies in the water for interest as well. The bush dogs are so cute and I really want to build a habitat that gives them the perfect little place to live. And then we'll drop in some giant rhubarb. This is a tropical plant from South America, but you can successfully grow it in England. In fact, the first time I saw it growing in England was in the bush dog habitat that this is based on, so definitely wanted to get some of that in there. I want loads of different types of grass in this habitat, and also something we very rarely put inside habitats, which is flowers. This is what I saw at Knowsley Safari Park, so want to replicate that here. We're going to have most of the longer grass and the flowers around the sides of the pond, and then the rest of the habitat will be a mixture of the buffalo grass and a few rocks and other bits of grass and stuff like that as well. I want to concentrate on getting the pond looking perfect first. We'll put a few tufts of this big blue stem grass in, and then we can move on to the flowers. So this is fun. Never put flowers in habitats really, so I've selected a few species which grow in South America, and then we're going to start placing them around here. All the flower pieces in the game have their own kind of grass with them, it looks like. Along with the stalks, it's pretty bright green, so I find if you sink it down slightly into the terrain when you place it, you get a more natural look. Also going to put some of the Yorkshire foggrass in around this log here and in a few other bits of the habitat, just for a bit of variety. If you get the different stalks of grass coming up there. A few more along this backside of the pond as well. Need to make sure it all looks good. And then we'll put one of the ash trees that we use throughout the zoo in here. It's a bit of a statement piece. And then we can move on to the habitat enrichment. So I put one of the logs in. You'll have seen in the intro, they're so cute when they go through there. I decided we needed 2 of those, so later on I added another one. And then we've got the blood scent marker, the skittle feeder, and the bamboo feeder, and then just a normal tray as well. And then we can draw paths between them where the grass is being worn down a bit as they travel between the most used parts of their habitat. Always makes it look nice and natural when you do that. We'll do that at the other end of the habitat as well. You've noticed we've got no barriers or anything in here at the moment. We will be adding those in later, but I wanted to concentrate on the landscaping first because that's probably the most important part of this habitat for me, I think. We'll also go in and shift a few bits of grass so none of it's growing through the enrichment items. That doesn't look good. And then finally for the landscaping, we'll drop some rocks here and there to cover up some of the terrain and just sit that pond more naturally into the surrounding environment. I think that should do it. Let's take a look at it. Oh yeah, that looks really good. A really natural looking water body. Like how you can see the zoo's boundary wall in the background as well. It's a really distinctive colour, which I've stolen wholesale from the Tiergarten Schönbrunn, so nice to catch a glimpse of that. Next up, we're going to build a little shelter for our bush dogs. If you're wondering why the mulch under the trees looks so weird, by the way, that is a bug in the pre-release version of the game that I'm playing here. Frontier have assured me it will be fixed for the proper version that you guys get your hands on. I should say a big thank you to Frontier at this point for giving me early access to this pack. I've had a lot of fun playing with it this week. This shelter is going to be tucked away at the back and basically in the opposite direction that most of the guests are going to be viewing this habitat from, so we don't need to go crazy with the details on this one. We're just going to use fairly basic log walls, and then just put in a little window and a little door so the dogs can get in and out and the keepers can access the habitat. Nothing fancy. Put a basic concrete floor in as well. We just need something so that the dogs have got somewhere to go if it gets particularly cold. Again, the habitat I'm basing this on only has a fairly small shelter for them. I think they're pretty much okay in most temperatures in the UK. And there we go, that's the shelter done. Let's move on to the barriers. So we've already established the style that we want to use in this area for the maned wolves and the giant anteaters. So I want to bring that across here. So we're going to have chain link fences at the back, and then the mixture of stone and glass viewing at the front. So we'll change all the panels at the back to the chain link, and then at the front we will alternate between glass, where we want to put the viewing areas, and then the wood, which is the I think the thinnest barrier for where we don't want viewing areas, and then we can cover the wood up with theming in a second. So we'll get the glass viewing in. We're going to have 3 viewing windows here, 2 along the front, and then this curved one here. Once we've got the glass in there, we can put the final bits of wood in. That also stops our guests from trying to look through the theming that we're going to put in there if we hide some actual wooden barriers. Never good at watching your guests just stood there staring at a rock. This first wooden part will be covered up with more grasses, but for the rest of them, we're going to explore some of the new pieces in the America's Animal Pack and see what we can do theming-wise with those. So to begin with, we're going to grab the walls from the maned wolf habitat, bring them over here to cover up the glass so that everything matches together nicely and the area is cohesive. We need to change a lot of the angles on the pieces and copy a lot more of the floor pieces along so that we can fill this entire area. And then we'll move on to the fences at the back, because one of the new pieces in the pack is absolutely perfect for fence detailing. Let's take a look at it. This is the Fiesta Ranch Gate. It's a really nice piece. I love how there's actual nails in the wood. What I discovered is if we just sink it down so you can mainly only see the tallest part of it, you get these brackets in the gate which look like they are then tying that into the ground. It's completely flexicolour, so if we change that, we've got a really interesting looking fence post here. It's only a little detail, it's right at the back of the habitat, but I'm really pleased with how that looks. Let's move on and check out a few more new pieces for the theming at the front of the habitat. Firstly, we're going to build a little wall using the same temple ruins that we've already sort of established as the style of this area, and then we'll take a look at the new pieces and see if we can find anything suitable to do some decorating here. I think this fabric works really nicely. It's flexicolour. If we can get this into some more South American style colours, we can get that on this wall here. That adds a really nice splash of colour. And then we've got some new kind of brackety type pieces, and as you know, any new tiny pieces are always very much welcomed by me, so we're going to use those to attach the fabric onto the bricks. If you want a full rundown of everything that's in the new pack, then you can check out my overview video which I've released alongside this episode. There are a few pieces like these which I think are going to be really useful for all builds going forwards really. You can see I've dropped all of the barriers down as well, much lower so people can see over them. As always, I did my research on this episode. I discovered that there's not actually been a care manual written for the bush dogs yet. They are pretty popular in European zoos now. I don't think they're particularly well represented in American zoos, but yeah, no one's written the manual yet. So according to the game, you only need 1.25 meters and you don't need any anti-climb barriers to keep bush dogs in. So I think these are about 1.3 meters tall. If you happen to be a zookeeper or anyone with expert knowledge of bush dog care, then please let me know in the comments if this would be sufficient to keep them in. I would love to know. Okay, so this theming's coming along really nicely. Got loads of plants and strangler fig roots in here. We're going to drop a couple more new pieces in here. We've got some really nice leaf details. They go pretty well with the ones we've already got in the South America pack, but they're a lot smaller and they're also flexi-color. So we can really match that up to one of Lion's signs there, so it fits in nicely. And then we'll move on to another bit of theming. With the addition of our bush dogs and the other new animal, which we will be getting to in about 2 minutes time, our South America area is complete. It's not just adding the animals, we need an entrance sign to announce the area, and we need some themed fencing so that the entrances and exits really set the scene for the guests as they get here. And it's the fence that we're going to work on first. This is inspired by some fencing at Zoo Leipzig in their South American area. Just some basic wooden planks, and then we've got some of the South American temple pieces to get a design on there. Because they're flexi-color, we can pretty much make that look like paint. We'll drop a larger wood beam in as the fence post, and then we're going to take one of those new bracket pieces and spin this the other way around, and we can use this as a nail to hold the fence together. We finally have something other than hinges 1 and 2 to do detail work like this, which is a lot of fun. So I'll put that in there, and then we can start building a fence with this panel. So we're going to move this over to here and place this down, spin it into position next to this path here. We'll put some more next to it. We'll get a few of the animal signs on as well, maned wolf and a capuchin. Put that at the exit to the area, and then we'll take care of the entrance. This is the join between the zoo's entrance plaza and the South America area. So we are right by the entrance. I don't want a massive archway or anything like that. It wants to be fairly small, just to let people know that down this path is the South America area. And then to the right, you've got the penguins. And then in the center, they can go through to the Madagascar house. And then we'll have something else away to the right in future. So we'll keep this pretty small, match it nicely with the theming that we've got at the moment. Just a mixture of the temple blocks. We've got some of the Indonesian brick in there, and then some of the South American designs, some of the new paper flags, a sunken ponytail palm, of course, and then what would probably be the 2 most popular animals from the guest perspective, the capybara and the sloth. We'll move one of the columns at the back up so the sloth joins onto it, and then it is onto our second new animal. I knew we only had space for one new habitat in the South American area, so I've been racking my brains as to if we could get one of the other animals in as well and have them in one of the habitats that we already have in the area. So here we are in the From Amazon to Andes house. When I was researching the new animals that lived in South America, I found out something very interesting about the saki monkey, and that is who we're going to be adding in here. There are several zoos keeping the white-faced saki monkey in walkthrough habitats because they are very tolerant and perfectly happy to be in them. So I did a bit more research and found out that at least one zoo keeps them with capuchins as well, which means that they are the perfect addition to From Amazon to Andes. So I'm just putting together a little bit of extra climbing for them, so they've got their own little space, but they will be free roaming in this habitat alongside our capuchin and capybara. Once we've checked out our brand new bush dog habitat, we will come and take a look at the saki monkeys in here. That's all the building done. Let's go and check out our completed South America. We've got a little South America sign across the main path, courtesy of one of Ricey's fonts. And here is the whole area. We've got the bush dog habitat away to the left, and then coming up on the little entrance sign that we built as well. Whole area looking good now. Let's check out the bush dogs. Here they come, exploring their beautiful, if I may say so myself, new habitat. You see them swimming through their pond here, getting up onto the log that they can use to get from one side of the pond to the other. The models on these guys are so good, they're absolutely adorable. The way he checks out his surroundings before he commits to getting into the little log that they can walk through is so cute. And then like the other animals, they have a little look through the holes as they walk through as well. Honestly, these are immediately one of my favourite animals in the game, I think. They're just so adorable. Had a lot of fun filming these cinematics. I think it was the longest set of cinematics of one animal I've ever had to edit from. But that's not all we're adding. Let's go across to From Amazon to Andes and check out the white-faced saki. These guys are pretty spectacular. It is so good to finally have another South American monkey in the game. The male and the female are sexually dimorphic, so they look completely different. The male's got the classic white face that gives them their name, and then the female has brown fur and a brown face. We'll check her out in a second, but just look how cute these guys are. Checking out their new climbing frame, food enrichment, nibbling away on their food. Let's check out the female. There she is. Like I say, she looks completely different to the male. Really good addition to our South American area, I think. I thought we'd take a quick look at the penguin cam. We've not seen this since we put it in there, but you can see the bush dog habitat in the background, and our penguin colony is coming along very nicely indeed. This is where we started today, and this is where we are now. South American area is complete. very happy with that. Thank you all so much for watching as always. Thank you to those of you who've joined the Explorers Club. Hit the join button on the channel if you want to see your name up here. Have fun with the new pack, and I'll see you very soon for another episode of Bellemont Zoo.